Most men mess up before they even open their mouths. They walk up to a woman already defeated, already nervous, already apologizing for existing. Women sense that energy instantly, and once she labels you as weak, it's over. Attraction doesn't start with what you say, it starts with how you carry yourself before you say anything. You have to understand that attraction is not about looks, money, or smooth lines. It's about energy. Women are drawn to men who project certainty. If you walk toward her like you belong there, like you have nothing to prove, she'll feel that before you even speak. Confidence is silent while insecurity screams.
Most guys treat approaching a woman like begging for approval. Wrong. The right way to approach is to flip the script. You're not there to convince her to like you. You're there to see if she's even worth your time, worth your presence, worth your energy. That small shift in mindset changes everything. Imagine this. You're walking toward her, shoulders back, relaxed, not rushing. You make brief eye contact and give a slight smile. Not a goofy grin, just enough to show composure. This isn't desperation, this is control. By the time you say a word, she already knows you're not like the other guys who hover and stutter. Now here's the secret. When you speak, don't lead with flattery. Every guy tells her she's beautiful, and every guy gets ignored. Compliments are cheap. What you should do instead is make an observation. Maybe it's about her vibe, her energy, or even something playful you noticed. That makes her pause. That makes her curious. When a woman isn't interested, it's usually because she doesn't feel anything. Indifference is the enemy. Your job isn't to make her fall in love instantly. It's to spark curiosity. If she's curious, she can't dismiss you. Curiosity is the first step toward attraction. Another mistake men make is over-explaining themselves. They talk too much, trying to fill the silence. But silence is powerful. If you can hold eye contact without rushing to talk, it creates tension. And women love tension. Tension makes the encounter memorable. Don't lean in when you approach. Don't try to get closer like you're chasing her approval. Instead, stand tall, plant your feet, and let her lean in if she wants more. Men chase with their bodies, kings attract by making space. That physical distance communicates strength. One of the most magnetic things you can do is stay grounded. If she throws you an attitude, rolls her eyes, or tests you, don't react emotionally. Most guys fold. You smile, stay calm, and carry on. That's when her brain registers, wait, why isn't he fazed like the rest? The truth is, women don't respect men who crumble under pressure. They want a man who can hold his frame no matter how she acts. When you approach her with calm confidence, you're showing her the kind of man she rarely meets, a man who doesn't bend just to please her. You must also approach with a sense of fun. If your vibe is heavy, like this is life or death, she'll run. But if you're playful, teasing, and light, she'll feel safe enough to engage. Humor is a weapon. Use it to disarm her and separate yourself from the robotic compliments she's used to. Understand this. Rejection doesn't matter. If she's not feeling it, you walk away with the same confidence you walked in with. That walk-away power makes her second-guess her own disinterest. Women are used to men chasing harder after rejection. When you don't, it flips the entire dynamic. Approaching correctly is about subtle dominance. Not in a controlling way, but in a grounded, masculine way. You're showing her, I know who I am, I know what I want, and I don't need your validation to feel whole. That self-possession is magnetic. Here's a psychological trick. When you approach, slow everything down. Slow your walk, slow your speech, slow your breathing. Slowness communicates control. Nervous men rush. Confident men take their time. The slower you are, the more she feels your presence. Women may act like they don't notice these little details, but subconsciously, they do. Every micro movement, every pause, every breath you take tells her something about you. When you approach with composure, she feels it in her gut, even if she doesn't understand why. Another thing, don't give her your full attention immediately. Attention is your currency as a man. If you give it away for free, it has no value. When you approach, yes, be polite, but also show you're not hypnotized by her beauty. She's attractive, but you've seen beauty before. That balance of interest and detachment hooks her. If you want to attract women who weren't even interested at first, you have to master presence. Presence means being fully in the moment. No overthinking, no worrying, no desperation. When you're present, she feels safe, she feels seen, and she feels pulled into your world. The reason this works is simple. Women live in a world where most men collapse under pressure. So when you approach differently, with calm energy, playful humor, slow confidence, and the ability to walk away, you stand out. Standing out is the foundation of attraction. So don't complicate it. Attraction isn't about magic pickup lines or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about your frame. Approach her like a man who's already complete. Approach her like she's lucky you chose to walk up. Approach her like you've got options, because you do. The first thing you need to burn into your mind is this. Attraction is not about convincing, it's about shifting her perception. When a woman isn't interested, she's placed you in a category. Just another guy. Your goal is to break out of that category by doing the opposite of what every other man does. That's where the magic begins. Most men approach women like they're applying for a job. They try to present their resume, their career, their achievements, their future plans. They overload her with information, hoping to impress her into attraction. But that never works. Attraction isn't logical, it's emotional. She doesn't want your CV, she wants to feel something. So how do you make her feel something? Simple, by giving her an experience instead of a pitch. If you can make her laugh, surprise her, or spark a playful debate, she'll instantly put you in a different category. The guy who makes me feel alive. That's the hook you need. One of the best tactics is to lightly challenge her. Women are surrounded by men who agree with everything they say, hoping it will win them points. But when you gently disagree, tease her opinion, or playfully call her out, you stand out. Suddenly, you're not another fan. You're someone who has his own mind. That creates respect, and respect creates attraction. Let's say you approach her, and she acts uninterested, maybe even a little cold. Most guys panic at this point. But here's where you flip the script. Instead of chasing harder, you pull back just slightly, with a smirk. That subtle body language tells her, I see your attitude, and I'm not affected. That calm resistance makes her wonder about you. The key is not to let her dictate your energy. If she's cold, you stay warm but composed. If she's dismissive, you don't take it personally. The less reactive you are, the more powerful you appear. Women test men all the time, and most fail by overreacting. When you pass the test by staying calm, she reevaluates you instantly. Remember, you're not there to win her over. That mindset creates desperation. You're there to express yourself, show your presence, and see if there's a connection. If there isn't, fine. If there is, great. This nonchalant mindset takes away her power to reject you, because you were never begging for acceptance in the first place. Another psychological hack, assume familiarity. When you approach her, don't act like you're intruding or begging for a moment of her time. Act like you've known her forever. That relaxed, casual tone throws her off balance. Instead of feeling guarded, she starts to feel curious. Why does this guy feel so comfortable around me? Here's the irony. When you treat a woman like a stranger you need to impress, she shuts down. But when you treat her like someone you're already comfortable with, she opens up. It's not arrogance, it's a subtle suggestion. I belong here. I don't need to prove myself. Body language is half the battle. If your shoulders are hunched, if your eyes dart around, if your tone is shaky, she knows you're not confident. But if you walk up with your chest open, your movement slow, your eyes steady, you're communicating dominance without saying a word. And women respond to dominance more than words. Never underestimate the power of humor. A woman who wasn't interested can be flipped in seconds if you make her laugh. Laughter bypasses her resistance because it's emotional, not logical. Even if she told herself she wouldn't give you a chance, a laugh cracks her armor and makes her think twice. But don't be a clown. The humor has to come from confidence, not from desperation. Don't tell long rehearsed jokes. Use quick wit, playful observations, or even exaggerations. Keep it light, keep it sharp, and most importantly, keep it effortless. Effortless humor is magnetic. Silence is another weapon. Most guys fear silence and rush to fill it, but silence builds tension. If you hold eye contact during a pause, it forces her to feel the moment. That tension is what makes an interaction memorable. It's not the words that stick in her mind. It's the emotions she felt in the gaps. When she tests you, she's not doing it to be cruel. She's doing it to measure your strength. If she rejects you harshly, smirks at you, or plays hard to get, it's because she wants to see if you'll break. The moment you don't, she feels respect. And respect is the soil where attraction grows. Another important piece: don't overstay your welcome. If the conversation feels forced or she's not engaging, exit gracefully. That walk-away power makes her curious. Women hate not having the last word. If you leave calmly, she'll remember you long after the moment ends, and curiosity will eat at her. Approaching with this mindset isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding psychology. Women are wired to crave men who stand out, who don't crumble, who aren't afraid to walk away. When you embody that, attraction becomes inevitable. Think of it like this. You're not trying to get her. You're trying to give her an experience. An experience of confidence, fun, tension, and authenticity. Whether she likes you or not, she'll never forget the way you made her feel. And feelings are what women chase. Here's the truth most men don't want to hear. If a woman isn't interested in you, it's not because you don't have enough money, looks, or status. It's because you didn't create the right feeling in her. Attraction is less about what you are and more about how you make her feel in the moment. That's the secret most guys miss. When you approach her with desperation in your eyes, she feels it instantly. Women have a sixth sense for neediness. They can smell when a man is trying too hard, and it's the biggest turnoff. But if you approach her with a calm, relaxed energy, she feels something different. She feels curiosity. Curiosity is the spark that flips the script. Another powerful move is to use playful indifference. Imagine she's brushing you off, rolling her eyes, or pretending she doesn't care. Instead of chasing her validation, lean back and smile. Your body language should say, "I've seen this before, and it doesn't faze me." That unbothered energy confuses her because most men crumble under coldness. Think about it. Every man wants her attention, but you're the one man who doesn't panic when she pulls away. That alone sets you apart. She starts to think, why isn't he reacting? Why isn't he chasing? That unanswered question is what makes her start chasing you instead. A technique you can use is called light disqualification. This means subtly suggesting she might not even be your type. For example, if she acts uninterested, you might smirk and say, "Relax, I'm not here to propose marriage." It flips the dynamic. Suddenly, she's the one wondering if she qualifies for your attention. Women are naturally competitive. If you give off the impression that you're selective, they'll feel the urge to prove themselves. But if you act like you'd accept anyone, they lose all respect for you. That's why approaching with standards is so powerful. It turns the tables instantly. Another trick is to shift the frame of the interaction. Instead of trying to impress her, act as if you're evaluating her. Ask fun, challenging questions. "So, are you always this serious?" Or, "What's one thing about you that would surprise me?" Suddenly, It feels like she's auditioning for you. That's when attraction starts building. Here's the psychological reason this works. Women aren't attracted to men who worship them. They're attracted to men who make them feel like they need to earn attention. When you approach with that vibe, she can't help but get curious about you. Scarcity is another powerful weapon. If you're always available, always eager, she'll never value your presence. But if you show her that your time and energy are rare, she'll treat you differently. Even in an approach, you can show this by not lingering too long. Leave her wanting more. Here's the mistake most guys make. They think attraction is about talking more. Wrong. It's about talking less, but saying things that hit emotionally. A short, confident, impactful line followed by silence can do more than 5 minutes of nervous chatter. One of the deepest psychological triggers for women is mystery. If she thinks she's already figured you out in the first 5 minutes, she loses interest. But if you give her just enough to stay curious, she'll lean in. Curiosity creates the chase, and the chase creates attraction. Approaching with mystery doesn't mean being vague or weird. It means revealing layers slowly, keeping her guessing, and never putting your whole identity on the table right away. That's how you go from random guy to the man I can't stop thinking about. Another key factor, pace. If you approach her too fast, too aggressively, she feels cornered. But if you approach slowly, with steady confidence, she feels intrigued. Speed screams desperation. Calmness screams control. And women always choose control. Remember this. Her first reaction is not her final decision. A lot of men walk away the second a woman acts cold. But often, her coldness is just a reflex. She wants to see if you'll survive the initial pushback. If you don't flinch, her mind starts to open. Think about it like this. Her rejection is not the end, it's the test. If you fail the test by looking crushed or overcompensating, she writes you off. But if you pass it by staying centered, she respects you. And respect always comes before attraction. Even the words you choose matter. Don't bombard her with compliments. Instead, tease her lightly, make an observation, or say something she's not expecting. Women get complimented all day. But how often does a man challenge them with wit and confidence? That's what stands out. Another psychological trigger is tension. If you can create playful tension in an interaction, through eye contact, teasing, or pauses, you make the moment memorable. Women don't remember the exact words you said, but they remember how you made them feel. Always remember, approaching is not about getting her. It's about showing up as a man who already values himself, regardless of her reaction. That self-assuredness is rare, and rarity is magnetic. Here's the brutal truth. Most guys are terrified of rejection, and women can see that fear instantly. The moment you walk up to her like she's doing you a favor by talking to you, you've already lost. Confidence isn't about pretending you're a king, it's about acting as if her response doesn't define you. That detachment is what she feels. When you carry yourself with this mindset, I'm enough, whether she likes me or not, your energy shifts. You're no longer needy, no longer performing, no longer begging for her attention. You're simply there, grounded, present. That presence alone is magnetic because it's so rare. Another thing most men miss, women often reject men not because they don't like them, but because the man failed to make an emotional impact. You have to jolt her out of autopilot. She's used to boring approaches like, "Hi, you're pretty. Can I get your number?" That's background noise. Instead, you need to enter with energy that disrupts her pattern. Pattern disruption can be as simple as teasing her outfit, joking about the situation, or asking a bold, unexpected question. For example, instead of saying, "You look nice," you could say, "That outfit is so confident, are you running for office?" Suddenly, she's not in autopilot anymore. She's engaged. Here's the psychological trick. If you can get her to react emotionally, you've won half the battle. It doesn't matter if she laughs, teases back, or even acts shocked. You've created a spark. That spark is the opening where attraction begins. The next mistake most men make is oversharing. They flood her with their life story, their achievements, their goals, all in the first 5 minutes. That's not attraction. That's desperation disguised as information. Attraction lives in mystery, not in explanations. You need to give her little pieces, not the whole puzzle. Think of your identity like a TV series. You reveal episodes slowly, keeping her coming back for the next one. The more she feels like there's more to discover about you, the more invested she becomes. Another crucial point. You need to be comfortable with pushback. If she acts unimpressed or says something sarcastic, don't get defensive. Smile, laugh, maybe even agree in a playful way. Resistance is part of the game, not the end of it. Women admire men who don't flinch under pressure. If you crumble at the first sign of disinterest, she knows you're not built for the long run. But if you remain calm, maybe even amused, you signal strength. And strength is irresistible. One subtle move you can make is controlling the pace of the conversation. If she's giving short answers, don't try to fill the silence by rambling. Instead, slow down even more. Ask something intriguing, pause, and let the silence do the work. That pause forces her to engage more deeply. Remember, women test to see if you're consistent. If your energy shifts the moment she acts cold, she knows you were faking confidence. But if your vibe remains steady, she realizes, this guy is for real. That realization alone can flip her interest level. Another psychological lever is unpredictability. If she feels like she already knows exactly what you'll do or say, she tunes out. But if you keep her guessing, sometimes teasing, sometimes serious, sometimes silent, she stays engaged. Unpredictability is addictive. This doesn't mean being erratic. It means mixing humor with depth, playfulness with mystery, energy with calmness. That range makes you dynamic, and dynamic men are never boring. One of the most powerful attraction tools is what I call delayed validation. Instead of showering her with compliments up front, hold them back. Let her earn them. When you finally do give a compliment, it hits harder because it feels authentic and rare. Remember, attraction thrives on emotional spikes. If she feels only comfort with you, she'll place you in the friend zone. But if you mix comfort with surprise, humor, and challenge, she starts associating you with excitement. And excitement is addictive. One tactic that works wonders is creating small challenges. For example, if she gives you a short answer, you might say, "Come on, you can do better than that." It's playful, but it pushes her to invest more energy. And the more she invests, the more she values the interaction. Investment is key. Humans value what they work for. If she's putting in effort, whether it's explaining herself, laughing at your jokes, or asking you questions, her brain is subconsciously attaching importance to you. That's why making her work a little is so powerful. Don't confuse this with being rude or arrogant. It's not about insulting her. It's about showing that you're not easily impressed, that you're not just another guy drooling at her beauty. That resistance makes her lean in harder. Unpredictability is another psychological lever. If you act exactly like every other man, she tunes out. But if you surprise her by teasing, then being serious, then joking again, you keep her emotions on a roller coaster. That unpredictability keeps her hooked. Think of it like this. Attraction is less like a straight line and more like a heartbeat. Peaks and valleys. If your vibe is flat and predictable, there's no life in the interaction. But if you create ups and downs, she feels alive when she's around you. That's what women chase. And never forget humor. Humor is the great equalizer. A man who can make her laugh can bypass her initial resistance. Even if she wasn't interested, laughter makes her walls collapse. But remember, humor has to come from confidence, not neediness. Women don't want a list of achievements. They want to feel like they're stepping into an adventure with you. If your presence feels like an escape from boredom, they'll crave more of it, even if they weren't interested at first. At the end of the day, approaching isn't about tricks or lines. It's about psychology. If you can make her feel curiosity, tension, fun, and challenge, she'll see you differently. And once her emotions are hooked, her logic can't save her from attraction.